killed, more than 300 injured, and more than 50,000 have got displaced because of the clashes between the Kuki ethnic groups which live in the hills and the dominant Meitei community which lives in the lowlands. And of course, the reason is the resentment over the economic issues, quotas in government jobs, and education to the people in the hills. I have with me a very special guest from Manipur. She's one of the leading intellectuals, a humanitarian and an author, Binalakshmi Nepram, who joins us from Manipur. Thank you so much, Bina, for coming to Free Press Journal. My first question to you is that, are you guys safe over there? That's my first question to you.
Nilu, no one is safe there. Right now, the entire state, 3.3 million people, our lives have been turned upside down. I have called it the darkest period in our history. What is happening in Manipur has shocked, aggrieved, it has shattered our lives upside down. So it's, as you said, houses have been repeatedly burned, attacks are going on. There is two types of warfare going on, one on the ground with lots of guns, with lots of ammunitions. It's a war zone which is of the worst kind that we've ever seen before. So I think it's really pertinent and critical right now that the government of India and everyone, including the people of this country, put our heads and hearts together and help resolve this fight. To pit one community against the other, Nilu, is not going to bring us anywhere. Let me just share with you, if you allow me, why and what. Yes, of course, the scheduled tribe status, all of these have been triggers, okay? But what has really gone beyond, let me put it for your audience, if you allow me. Manipur is a beautiful, beautiful state, which was an ancient Asiatic kingdom with a 3,000-year-old history. I repeat, 3,000 years old history. From 33 AD, we have a whole line of 74 kings who rule. It's a very beautiful kingdom, which joined the Union of India in 1949. And we had even our own written constitution, and 34 plus ethnic groups and communities have been living together for centuries. And so what has happened now, as you're seeing, is not between Kukis and Meiteis alone. Manipur is not just of Kukis and Meiteis alone. It has, as I said, more than 30 plus beautiful groups. And what is happening is the identities, the ethnicities have been weaponized. It's weaponized for vote banks. It's been weaponized for profits.
Allow me to interrupt you, Bina. You said that the ethnicities have been weaponized and weaponized for the vote bank. That's a very strong statement coming from you. Now, what I want to ask you really is that whom would you really hold accountable if the ethnicities are being weaponized to a level where people are thinking about the vote bank and not thinking about Manipur?
I realize, had India done good governance right from that time, where it says, all right, there are, because Manipur was like Bhutan, like Nepal, another Asiatic, beautiful, mountain state region, And then, so what happened after it joined the Union of India? It was made not even a state till 1972. So they left it hanging as a Part C state. And then, there was a lot of, at that time, very critical years, 40s, 50s, and 60s were lost. 30 years, can you imagine? So what has happened is that this particular region, the history of the region is not in the textbooks of the country. So no one knows who is who. So as a result, then all these different beautiful ethnic groups, which should be, as I said in earlier interviews, which should be a source of joy, that it should be a source of joy, has been weaponized. In the sense, when I say weaponized, it's because when insurgency started in Manipur in the 1970s, like armed, really heavily armed, full-blown, what has happened is the Indian government also tried to subdue the conflict, and it started arming smaller ethnic groups, Nilu. This is the problem, you want to resolve one crisis, you try to resolve a fire, you don't bring a fire, you bring water.
What I'm getting to read, what I'm getting to hear from the people who belong to Manipur and who are residing in Delhi, we've done a lot of panel discussions for other platforms as well, where they say that, the basic issue, the bedrock of all the problem is the land and the identity assertion. The Meiteis are also asserting, and of course, the Kukis are asserting. And the cherry on the top, which I may call in the negative sense, is the provocation by building a fake narrative, by calling out names. Is this the exact picture, or is this exactly what is happening?
Manipur has now become a part of the Golden Pentagon, which produces, Manipur apparently in many sources have said it produces now 10% of the world's heroin. So this money from the drugs is used to buy guns. These guns brings about arming of these groups, and they buy political power. So what we're seeing, Nilu, right now is the criminalization of our democracies, in which there are drug lords which have now become politicians in Manipur. And your program must do proper investigation. I call upon all journalists and thinkers in India to really follow the money of what is happening, and you will find your answers.
As you said, that it is all because of what is happening with the drug trafficking, gun running. Yes. You have politicians who are involved into all this. My question to you is that our home minister, who claims to be a very efficient home minister, what is he doing? He was there camping in Manipur. What did he do during that time? Why is the prime minister silent?
This is exactly our point. I have repeatedly said the Gujarat riots was brought down in 3 days, just 3 days. The death count in Gujarat was more than even in Manipur, but it was brought down in 3 days. Manipur has over 158 dead and counting, and many bodies you can't even count because they've been burned to ashes. When over thousands of homes were burned, people got burned with it. So as a result, and then it's gone for 45 days nonstop till today. And this is the most perplexing question that the people of Manipur have, both on the hills and the valley. That why is the prime minister silent, not said a word, number one. When the train accident happened, and our condolences to those who lost their lives in that tragedy. But the prime minister went within 24 hours to that place and consoled the people. How come is he only the prime minister of North and South and West? Isn't also the prime minister of the northeast of India? Isn't he also the prime minister of the people of Manipur? And the home minister also came. He did meet many people. He spent several days. We appreciate that. But the point in the end of it is India, with its 4th largest army in the world, is not able to even calm this conflict down. So for many communities on the ground, they are losing their trust in ensuring that there are the people in authority, people in power. How come they have not been able to calm the situation down?
Bina, whenever this kind of a conflict happens, the center, tries to use the Article 355 of the Constitution, and they start sending in the central forces. There's a presence of Manipur State Police. You have a rapid action force. You have people
all there.
The army. They're all there. But
they're all there.
Will that make a difference? Will their presence make a difference?
They are all there. I think over 40,000 troops have been flown in the past. We have seen so many huge aircraft, but they were not. They are right there on the ground, but they have not been able to subdue the situation. So let me now bring again to your viewers something which I have not been able to express in like 2-3 minutes, prime time shows. The reason why this violence is continuing is because of a certain fear factor which is generated in the public, in which it says that and again, sharing what's happening on the ground, is the fact Manipur, as I mentioned, is a very old, ancient Asiatic nation state. And currently, the people of Manipur felt that the asking of a separate administration would break Manipur apart. So every Manipuri mothers, sons, children, even young
Are you
people.
hinting at the fact that, the demand for a separate Kuki land? Will
Yes.
that break Manipur? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So this is something, again, the northeast of India, even Nagas are asking for their Nagalim. So the contested homeland issue is very, very problematic, which has resulted in the public out there saying, if the government of India, the government of Manipur, if you see in the past 24, 48 hours, the houses of the BJP, president has been attacked, they burned down a Union Home Minister's house. The public is telling these people that you were not able to, because in 1949, when the merger agreement was signed, the government of India said they will protect the territorial integrity of the state, including the Congress, including the BJP. So if there is this, rumor going on, then Manipur is going to break, then every 3 million Manipuris are now enraged and said, how can you separate a small, beautiful state?
And who are these rumor mongers? Are they people from outside? Are they people within Manipur? Who are these rumor mongers?
The rumor mongers have been started with the asking that Manipur must separate. And it's also the rumor monger, is also not just rumor mongering, but even the press in India. I'm very sorry to say, through all these programs, you have been exacerbated these rumors by citing one against the other. So our appeal is, please look at the political economy of conflict, look at the criminalization of our democracies, look at how certain, what I call elites in both these areas, they are engineering this conflict.
What is the reason for this apathetic attitude towards Manipur? I remember when the BJP government was formed in Manipur, Prime Minister went down for the oath taking swearing in ceremony, and he used to say that when Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, he has said often in his rallies that we will act upon the East, we will look up to the East. East was disintegrated at the time of the UPA. Now we will bring it back in the mainstream. All those promises have fallen apart. What is really happening? What is the reason for this nonchalance of the central government, of the state government, of the intellectual class? What has really happened?
Yes, so that's why I think your viewers must really understand that when you try to understand Manipur and the northeast of India, you have to understand the geopolitical importance of this region. And definitely, yes, we did see elements where the Prime Minister came many times and efforts made to improve the infrastructure. There were efforts we could see that was made to ensure that the northeast but again, many of these policies are also done with a very geopolitical and economic lens, where the Northeast was seen as a place of immense, resource of oil and gas, which could be extracted. So it is the, corporatization of our democracy, which is being played out in that part of the world, which is also one of the reasons.
No, but are you thinking, that's an important point you're making, and I'm sorry to interrupt you because these questions are coming to my mind, and it's important to ask you that you said the geopolitical reasons are also some of the factors because of which the things are going out of hand. Are you saying that the government of India, I'm talking about the central government, is helpless because of these geopolitical reasons? It may have certain vested interests with these drug lords. It could have certain vested interests with these gun runners. Could that be a possibility?
I think this is a very important question you're asking, because I'm a student also of international relations, and I've been acutely following the conflicts for the last 30 years of my life here. And what is happening in Burma has absolutely direct implication on what's happening in Manipur today. And I will explain to you. This particular region, and it's not just about last 2 years of military coup, but for the last 10, 15 years, there have been a lot of cross-border, movement of people, and also of smuggling items going on in this region for a long, long time. It is geopolitical rumblings in this region, which is resulting in a lot of refugee flows. And the government of India doesn't have a policy. India government did not sign the refugee policy. As a result, refugees were criminalized. So There have been 300 arrests of refugees made in Manipur, whereas in Mizoram government, they have actually formed several hundreds of camps, and they are there. And it's very critical that the government of India, which have welcomed refugees in the past, if it had a clear-cut refugee policy, put the refugees in certain places, ensure them exit visas, enable then the public in Manipur wouldn't have felt fearful that they are going to be like, they are going to come in literally in hordes, which have been one of the fear factors.
So somebody is orchestrating this situation in a way you are hinting. Who could be those interests?
Again, please look at the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, in which they have hinted that the northeast of India, Manipur and northeast of India, has become major drug producing sites in the past couple of years. And several people, not just in Manipur, but if in different parts of India are involved, because it is not just the people who plant poppy, they are the poorest of the poor who plant it. But is the bigwigs from across the chain, who are involved in it, and they are buying votes. They have entered politics. How can then will we have peace in the state? So the turbulent situation will be profiting certain people. Conflict profits certain people. Absolutely. It affects the people. So this is something, Nilu, that we should have to get into dive right into to find out. And we call upon scholars and researchers and thinkers in India to look into this issue and not just pit one community against the other.
What can be the solution, and what is the immediate step which the government of India or maybe the state government can take? Obviously, it's not going to be because due to the presence of the army or the troops or the police or the rapid action force. Of course, that is not the solution. So what is that one step which the government of India needs to take immediately and that is not being taken?
The government of India knows who's arming, training, and engineering this fight. They must do all in its power. And I particularly call upon the Prime Minister, the Defense Minister, the Home Minister, those three, including with all the advisors, to please talk to both sides who are heavily armed and fighting and doing this burning and killings, to stop and lay down the arms first. This is the first step that must be done at a priority level, number one. Number two, that the trust which was lost, the pain which has been caused, through a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which should have different committees to look into the violations, committees which look into relief and rehabilitation, ensuring justice, and a committee which will ensure that the huge awash of weaponry which has flooded this beautiful state
is really very unfortunate. And what can one really say, and can really urge the government and the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, to really come and intervene as fast as they can before the things really spin out of hand. Do you really take care of yourself, Bina? It was wonderful having you on the program, and you do take care of yourself because you are in a zone which is a conflict zone right now, and so your safety is paramount. Thanks so much for coming and giving us an interview on the Free Press Journal. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
One appeal to the viewers who are watching this interview: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to Free Press Journal. Thank you. Thank you, Bina. Thank you.